Hey, it's your boy. I'm back with some more banger content. So today I finished Jedi Survivor. You will keep getting more videos of it. Do not worry. I just finished it today, and I wanted to make this video talking about what my feelings were towards the game, since I just finished it and it's all off the top of my head. Like I said, expect more content on it. It's just I wanted to do it while I was here, and I also so this review is going to be not like a real what do I call them, like the Pursuit of Platinum, where in those I'm going to be probably going over spoilers. I'll be talking about what the 100% is like, and not just the total game, just like every single aspect of the game, all of it in that review. Will be a pretty in depth review compared to this, which is going to be a mostly just like spoiler free. There might be some minor spoilers, but nothing actually big, and just some quick reviews and pretty much how I feel about the game. Not everything about it, just how I feel about it overall. So just to start us off, this game is good, man. Like, this is a very good game. I probably won't give it like a percentage in here, but if I was to rate it on like a tier list, honestly, I'd probably give it S. So there's some problems which I think would take it down quite a bit. There's a few actually game breaking bugs. In one of my latest clips, I won't put it in this video because there's kind of spoilers, but one of my latest clips, I had to redo an entire level because my BD just bugged out and I couldn't use them. So I had to kill myself and then rerun through the entire thing over again, which was horrible. Terrible bug to have. And there's a lot of those, not a whole bunch, but there's enough for it to be noticeable. Um, and then the obvious like elephant in the room is the performance is not that good. It is definitely not up to standards with what you would expect from a AAA video game company's release nowadays. So that is definitely something that deserves some attention, but I'm not going to be talking about it much here because it's already been talked to death essentially about what is happening with the performance. Uh, if I was to like say when I'd expect it to be fixed pretty fast, and it's already gotten some small fixes, but like performance is still having problems. Like on my PS5, I'm on performance mode the whole way through, and I would say I was averaging probably 35, 40 FPS, but there would be levels where it would be like 20 or like 15 even. It was pretty bad. But that's like the two major complaints I have. Or there's some pretty bad bugs and there's some pretty bad performance. But other than that, man, this game is just a actual straight up only improvement. There has been not a single part of this game where I think was worse than Fallen Order. A lot of people say the story is worse than Fallen Order. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Fallen Order's story. I think how it ends is honestly really let me down. It's not a bad ending, but it's just it felt like the whole game was worthless essentially. Like I understand it's about Cal's journey and stuff, but I'm not going to get too deep into that, but I just wasn't a huge fan of the first game's ending. And a lot of people say the story of the first game's like the best story in the better story out of these two. I completely disagree. I think the story is much more interesting. I have one problem with it, but it's once again I'm not going to go into spoilers, but there's one plot point that I'm not a huge fan of. But there's like so much good here, man. The combat is fucking phenomenal, man. It is so good. They have done an outstanding job with the combat. I honestly think this is the best combat in a Star Wars game, period. Honestly, I don't think there's ever been better combat, and it's some of the best combat that isn't a Souls-like for me, and that's impressive. It reminds me of Ghost of Tsushima, which is my favorite like game of all time when it comes to the combat. It's just super satisfying and just super good. The combat's great. There's way more enemy variety. Another small complaint is the bosses aren't super interesting in this game. The first game they were kind of mostly like creatures, which was boring in its own way, but this is just a lot of the same like enemies. Not same enemies, but it's like it feels like there's like 10 bosses and then like a few humanoid bosses who are all kind of similar. And I'm not a huge fan of that, but all the other enemies, it's great. The worlds are insane. There's so much content. Specifically on two of them have like actually insane amounts of content. And here's something I could probably talk about for hours, and I probably will talk about it for hours in the actual like big review. But the customization in this game is on a whole nother level from Fallen Order. Fallen Order is like constantly I felt limited in what I could do with my like things I have. Like I would only have 3 different types of lightsabers or whatever, and these ponchos, and I just didn't like it very much. But this game, bro, there's so much. You can make your cowl look insanely different from somebody else. I've been watching 2 other playthroughs, and their cowl looks extremely different. My cowl is I've been rocking a white saber the whole playthrough. I probably will continue to do that because it fits Cal really well, and it's my favorite saber color, I think. But the customization is just great, man. There's stances, and one of the stances, minor spoiler. Well, we'll just put spoiler in general. One of the stances involves a gun, and that blaster, you can customize it, and it looks so cool. All the stances have their own benefits and negatives. I do think though that they do need some better balancing, because I think like the cross guard blade blows ass, and then like the single saber blows ass. The double is all right, and then the blaster and the dual stance are just actually significantly better than every other version. I think I'm not entirely sure on that, but it feels that way to me. I also, just for reference, did play the game on Jedi Grandmaster. A lot of people are saying it's easier than what's it called, Jedi Fallen Order, which at first I completely disagreed with. I thought that Jedi Survivor was significantly harder, but I actually can see what they were saying now. It's kind of weird. If you're leveled like correctly for the missions, it's super easy. But if you're under leveled for something, it is horrible in this game. Like the Rancor fight in one of my videos was awful. 90 deaths, man. Like that's way, way too much. And it was terrible. But I don't really blame that in the game. It's kind of like Elden Ring in that way, where you can go into fights and just be clapped for so long because you're just not leveled correctly for it. But that pretty much everything, man, is just so good. The environments are great. The story moments are great. There's actually emotion in this story, I think, quite a bit. Not to say the first game didn't have any, but this one has like a lot. There's just so much I could say. The music, all of it, all of this game is just good, like actually good. Like I said, I think I'd give it S tier if we're taking in performance, and let's say it doesn't get fixed within like the next 4 weeks, then I would probably lower it down to A or B because the performance is that bad. But the actual game itself is so good, man. I cannot express enough. If you are a Star Wars fan, you will love this game. And even if you're like only a Souls fan or just a video game fan in general, you will probably enjoy this game. It's just so good, man. All right, well, that's about it. Later.